mga Pilipino, tubo sa Sultan Kudarat, nagkaisa at nagkabuklod, diwa niya'y tinaguyod. Nais naming ipabatid, kami lahat magkakapatid, sa Sultan Kudarat naming mahal, ibig namin inaalay. Kami mga Pilipino, tungo sa Sultan Kudarat, nagkaisa at nagkabuklod, diwa niya'y tinaguyod. Nais naming ipabatid, kami lahat magkakapatid, sa Sultan Kudarat naming mahal, ibig namin inaalay. Bisig pag-isahin sa lahat ng bithin, ang lakas pag-ibayuhin, disiplina'y pairalin. Sultan Kudarat, sa gisag ng maging matapat, mabuhay, mabuhay, mabuhay ang Sultan Kudarat. Bisig pag-isahin sa lahat ng bithin, ang lakas pag-ibayuhin, disiplina'y pairalin. Sultan Kudarat, sa gisag ng maging matapat, mabuhay, mabuhay, mabuhay ang Sultan Kudarat. Mabuhay, mabuhay, mabuhay ang Sultan Kudarat.
Bigyang daan kaming mga nilalang na isinilang sa katimugan. Isulan ang tawag naming pangalan, mayo tayong puso'y may kagalakan. Kandungan ka ng bawat mithiin, sa pag-away sandigan ka namin. Isulan ang iyong simulain, tani ka na sa puso't diwa namin. Sa bukso ng mga pagsubok, kaagapay kaming magkakabuklod. Tugon at tawis, alay sa hamon, buhay na sagana at payaman. Isulan, isulan, dakila ang iyong pangalan. Aming pagyamanin, likas mong kayamanan. Ibandilang karangalan, o mahal naming inang bayan. O mahal naming inang bayan. O mahal naming inang bayan.
My fellow councilors, raise your right hand and together we will recite the councilor's creed. I am a Philippine councilor mandated by law to enact measures and ordinances that rebound to the general welfare of my constituents and their pursuit for happiness, peace, and prosperity. I believe in public service above self as the guiding principles of my official act and as a trend, the pathway of local legislation. May the Almighty guide my mind and heart that I shall be true to my constituents and the Filipino people.
Okay, so let's have the roll call.
Honorable Arnold Armada, Honorable Carlo Apiado, Honorable Moises Dular, Honorable Alfonso de Masuay, Honorable Darlene Lama, Honorable Marvin Dalanon, Honorable Ana Fe Collado, Honorable Janice Joy Doliete, Honorable G.R. Dizon,
Present.
Honorable Joffer Durana, Honorable Waljon Poscablo. Honorable Presiding Officer, so at this moment there are only 5 members are present and 6 members are absent. Those absent are Honorable Alfonso de Masuay. Sorry. So those absent here. So there are 6 members who are present, Your Honor, due to the arrival of Honorable Alfonso de Masuay, and only 5 members are absent. So they are Honorable Darlene Lama, Honorable Marvin Dalanon, Honorable Janice Joy Doliete, Honorable Joffer Doranan, Honorable Waljon Poscablo, Honorable Darlene Lama, and Honorable Doliete informed us that they are on official leave, Your Honor, due to important matters to attend to.
Okay, so quorum is declared.
So, Your Honor, we are now on the reading and consideration of the minutes of the previous session. We have the minutes as of March 23, 2026.
Okay. Let's go over our minutes dated March 23, 2026. Okay, so any correction so far? Road. Any correction? Honorable Apiado.
Mr. Chair, if there's no correction on our minutes dated March 23, 2026, I move for its adoption.
Okay, so the minutes of our regular session held on March 23, 2026 is hereby adopted. So next order of business.
So we are now on the privilege
Privilege
hour.
hour. Okay, so any member would like to render a privilege speech? Honorable Dimasuay, are you familiar with the scheme of the Kadiwa that was held last time? daw may mga nabatian kita nga mga feedback nga daw very limited ang naka-avail sang program.
Yes.
Anong ilang sistema?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Actually, the Kadoywa program is open to everybody.
So,
I don't know kung nga may mga comment nga limited. Siguro limited because first time natin na first time natin gin-hold, baka ang ginamit nila nga limited ang supply.
that's what they mean.
Yes,
Though gamay ang naka-avail.
naka-avail. Meaning nakabakal?
Nakadawat, nakabakal.
Nakabakal.
Oo.
Actually, daw ay man gani maubos ang mga stocks naton sa vegetables. And
How about ang bugas?
ang bugas lang.
Oo.
Yes, because sa bugas, it's very clear sa guidelines. Ang vulnerable sectors ang priority. Yeah, that is very true. Limited lang siya ang bugas. Pero kung matapos ang mga vulnerable sectors maka-avail, kag may mabilin, that is again open to everybody. And we're contemplating because first time natin gin-hold, baka next kadiwa natin, schedule, magdamo ang stocks. Pero ang bugas, bisan di kita magadto, that is very true. Kuan lang gid siya, senior citizens, PWD, mga forest among the poor in the community.
Okay. May listing sila sang dapat tagaan.
Wala.
So,
Basta open to everybody, gina-announce ang magkadto nga senior citizens,
so pakita mo
PWD.
ID mo.
Pakita ID.
Okay.
Oo. Priority. Sa bugas lang. That is
Okay,
only
that's,
true sa bugas. Pero sa other items, wala man. Wala limit. So, sige lang, kay ginakuha naton nga by next schedule, base madugang-dugangan ang stocks. Kaya wala man ta budget sa to. Oo.
We have no fund involved
Yeah.
sa program.
Ang bugas nga to is coming from the Region 12 DA in collaboration with the National Food Authority. So, bisan sa NFA, mo man na siya ang medyo limited lang siya. Pero sige lang, at least may gamay. Yeah, tama to. Limited siya para sa bugas lang. But other items, it is open to everybody. And I think the kadiwa that we hold is very successful. Although, amula na siya sa bugas gidman. Pero sa other items, damo. And maybe next schedule, damo na. Hindi lang bugas, pati mga manok, siguro magdala na ang taga-uma. Baligya dira. Okay, wala pa man abi maayo ma-disseminate to siya. Okay, first time naton. Sige lang na-expand naton. Pero may mga nagabargain tani magiging regular. So, we're contemplating with the DA, ginaplano nga kung pwede, 15-30. Kaya kung 15, meaning may sweldo. 30 may sweldo. So, ang mga empleyado makabakal, kag ang bisan pa ang mga farmers naton nga may mga kabataan nga mga employed, at least may income sila. So, the very purpose of this kadiwa is to regulate, if not to totally eliminate middlemen. Ang gusto naton, farm products produced by the farmers will be the one to sell. Wala na sang middlemen. So kung wala sing middlemen, botslingon ang farm gate price naton, amo na siya, halimbawa 100. Kung may middleman na siya, patungan sang middleman 20, machine to 20. So ang consumer, siyempre nag-aangal. Pero direct selling from the farmers who produce those items to the consumers. So, we could gradually eliminate middlemen and mahatagan naton sang
very reasonable price ang consumers naton.
Okay. So, any other matter of privilege from the other members? Honorable Joper Durana.
Yes, Mr. Chair, good morning everyone. Ang Association of Barangay Chairman sa Municipality of ISULAN, Mr. Chair, ay taos pusong nagapaabot gid sang pasalamat sa mga legislator during their State of Barangay address. And thank you sa mga updates, no, sa mga legislator nga nag-attend sa State of Barangay Independent State of Barangay Address Independent Barangay, Mr. Chair. Nagapaabot gid sang papasalamat ang mga barangay chairman.
Okay. So, thank you, Honorable Joper. No? Our concern, Honorable Joper, is gadulungan ng schedule. So, I think, as mandated siguro, so, we just divided the availability of the members sa mga barangays. Okay. But also, we would like to congratulate barangay chairman and officials of this municipality for holding such a very important event and mandatory and essential also.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Notice yun. Lata na lang na yun. Itong ano niya.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Ponce de Masbate.
Before we proceed, I would like to pose a question regarding this barangay assembly, because what we did is sabay-sabay. Kaya not all SB members could attend. Although pang designate kita ni Mayor, ako sa Bambad, ang iban sa Dansuli, ang iban sa... Could we make it not at the same day, para at least majority of the Sangguniang Bayan could attend next time ba? Although mandated by the law na two General Assembly per year, pero pwede halimbawa karong adlaw amo ni siya nga barangay duha lang o tatlo, hindi damo, hindi tanan-tanan ba, para maka-attend man kita. Could we possibly do that, Mr. Chair? I pose this question to the ABC President.
Yes, Honorable Pons, ang mandate ng DILG every twice a year by the month of March and October. But supposedly mag-attend sana yung mga legislator. And then, nakaschedule po siya every Saturday and Sunday lang para maipon ang mga constituent, no? But most of the barangay official is kumbaga sa ano daw, pinaka-last nga sa Saturday and Sunday of the month, by the month of this quarter. So that's why nagsunod-sunod siya ba, and prerequisite naman kung sometimes sa time na to na very congested man, like may celebration yung mga women's month celebration natin, nagka-conflict siya, damo gid activities by the month of March, no? So I could suggest siguro hindi lang last week of the month of March and para ma-cater naton tanan, no? So-
Yes. Mr. Chair, my humble recommendation is, anyway, March, may 4 man kita ka Saturdays o 4 ka Sundays. Kung pwede, ikuan lang naton ba? Para nga, kung gusto naton nga majority of the SB, could attend. Kay para daw sadya.
Yes, Honorable Pons, ay ipaabot ko lang po during meeting of EBC meeting namin, Sir Pons.
Okay, thank you.
Oo. Or, maski sa oras lang, Honorable Joper. Meaning, ang iba na aga, iba na hapon. Doon nagsabay gabi 1 o'clock ang mga schedule nila. Earlier, may issue kita gina-raise sa MDR ta.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Calyado.
For clarification, kay sa aton nga MDREM head, si Sir Escleto, kung pwede, Mr. Chairman, mapatawag ta kay may clarify lang kita about sa ambulance.
The use of ambulance.
Oo.
Sige.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, we'll request the presence of Mr. Edwin Escleto if he is available or any officer in charge in his behalf. Okay, so if there's none, then let's proceed.
So we are now on the first readings. The first item is the letters of invitation from the Sangguniang Bayan requesting the presence of Attorney Kendall Hilario, CPA, Chairperson of the Local Project Monitoring Committee, and Engineer Dandy A. Loyola, the Municipal Engineer.
We don't have their presence yet. And I received a verbal communication that there's no approval yet from the Honorable Mayor for Engineer Loyola to appear in this session. So, and I think it would be better if we will raise this issue kung we have a meeting with the Honorable Mayor siguro. Yes, Honorable Pons.
Di ba nag-assign si Mayor isang officer in charge in her absence? So I think the officer in charge could sign.
Off the record, ang concern dito, naka-off na ta. Okay. suspended, we have the presence of Sir Edwin Iscleto. So, Honorable Ann, can you restate our question with Sir Ed?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Clarification sa aton nga kay Sir Escleto, how to use, paano ginagamit ang ambulance sa mga emergency, or clarification lang, Sir Escleto.
Oo. Sir Ed, pwede mo man maumpisahan gid sa puno, sa Lusay, off the record ta? Sige, let's go off the record yapon. Mitigation.
May I only read the very purpose of this letter,
Yes,
Your
yes,
Honor?
please.
This memorandum, Your Honor. This memorandum is for purposes of the reactivation of local price coordinating councils in reference to DILG Memorandum Circular number 2018-128, maintenance of public safety, peace and order, support of possible fuel rationing, public information, and reiteration on the accelerated implementation of the government energy management program.
So, it's the reactivation of the price monitoring council. Okay, so for information.
So, in addition, Your Honor, to the memorandum, as stated in the memorandum, Your Honor, is the required information shall be submitted via the following Google Drive link as stated on or before March 31, 2026.
Ano na?
So this
Number
is
3.
addressed
Ay, item 4.
still, Your Honor, item number 2.
I still item.
In addition to the statement as stated in the memorandum, Your Honor, so there is a requirement to submit the required information, Your Honor. So I think
To the DILG.
this concerns the local, the executive department, Your Honor.
Yes, yes. For our information.
Yes, Your Honor. Item number 3, memorandum from the Department of the Interior and Local Government addressed to all provincial governors, municipal mayors, DILG provincial directors, and city. Ay, so
Sige lang.
Item
4.
number 4, memorandum circular number 2026-23 from the DILG addressed to all provincial governors, city municipal mayors, punong barangays, DILG regional directors, and all other concerned with the subject adoption of energy conservation protocol.
Do you have the copy of the protocol?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sige. For our information and guidance. Pero i-reproduce ta or i-post ta sa sige. We will observe the protocol.
Damo, sabi.
Okay. So next
Item number 5, advisory from the DILG addressed to all local chief executive, including DILG regional and field officers and all other concerned with subject dissemination and implementation of the advisory of the Interagency Energy Efficiency and Conservation Committee on the reduction of fuel consumption of at least 10%.
Reduction pa.
Item 5.
So, may I read this, Your Honor?
Lain naman eh. May protocol, may advisory.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have the
So-
copy of the advisory?
About energy conservation.
10%? Paano? Anong nabutang niya?
May I read this, Your
Oh, sige,
Honor?
wait.
So, this is to disseminate the attached advisory issued by the Interagency Energy Efficiency and Conservation Committee, chaired by the Secretary of the Department of Energy, enjoining all government entities to implement fuel efficiency and conservation measures to reduce fuel consumption by at least 10% by implementing fuel conservation practices in the respective operation, particularly in the management and utilization of government vehicles, consistent with the measures outlined in the attached advisory. So these are the salient
Sige, sige.
requirements.
For information.
Regular and preventive vehicle maintenance, ensure scheduled preventive maintenance of vehicles to enhance operational efficiency and fuel performance. Standardized vehicle monitoring system. Establish a monitoring system that includes at minimum the driver's name, odometer readings before and after each trip, fuel volume during refueling, completion of the daily maintenance or checklist, and a comprehensive vehicle maintenance history. Full tank method. Implement the full tank method to improve the accuracy of fuel consumption monitoring and enable precise measurement of vehicle fuel efficiency. Optimize trip management. Implement route planning, trip consolidation, and carpooling of vehicles sharing to maximize vehicle utilization and reduce unnecessary fuel use. Phase transition to electric or hybrid vehicles. Gradually replace high-use or short route service vehicles with electric or hybrid units supported by solar-powered electric vehicle charging stations in compliance with the 10% EV fleet requirement under the comprehensive roadmap for electric vehicle industry. Fuel-efficient driver behavior. Promote practices such as avoiding excessive idling, maintaining steady speeds, observing proper speed limits, and preventing vehicle overloading to minimize fuel consumption. And last, submission of monthly consumption reports. This will be submitted through the GMP online system to enable proper monitoring of monthly fuel consumption trends and provide analysis for the development of appropriate interventions and programs to ensure effective implementation of fuel efficiency measures.
Sige. For information.
Then item number 6, resolution number 337 of 17th SP Series of 2026, validating Municipal Ordinance number 2026-353. This is the ordinance on the Palinki or Palinqr PH program.
Okay. For information.
Bisang ng panalawigan has declared valid the
Valid the
ordinance, Your Honor. Then we have resolution number 2026-4 of Barangay Mapantig. This is as regards the assistance for clearing and cleaning of drainage system.
The resolution is addressed to
The municipal mayor,
Okay.
30 Sangguniang Bayan, for the clearing and cleaning of the drainage system of Locon Creek, and
Okay.
identified
uh,
schistosomiasis
in-
affected area in Barangay.
So we'll endorse this resolution to the local chief executive.
Item number 8, resolution number 2026-5 of Barangay Calawag 3. This is the request for a permit for the conduct of cockfighting as part of the 59th founding anniversary and 19th Waras Waras Festival of Barangay Calawag 3 on April 10, 17, and 24,
Refer
2026.
to the committee on games.
Then item number 9, the annual budget for fiscal year 2026 of the Sangguniang Kabataan ng Barangay Dilutilla.
Refer to the committee on finance and appropriation.
Item number 10, notice of meeting from the Municipal Convergence Action Committee addressed to all SB members. This is scheduled on March 31, 8 o'clock in the morning at the Municipal Youth Home, this municipality.
Ano ni? Committee, Municipal
Convergence.
Sinong members ni?
Action.
Is there a particular SB member of this Convergence Action Committee
It is addressed to all Sangguniang Bayan members, Your Honor.
for us to attend?
Yes, Your Honor.
The communication is from the Honorable Mayor.
Yes, Your Honor, but it was signed by the officer in charge during his designation as municipal mayor, Honorable Carlo Apiado, Your Honor.
Okay, so the meeting is at the
Youth home.
youth home, dira na sa MSWD building naton at
8 to 11.
Okay. In the morning. Sige, for
8
our
a.m., Your
information.
So, Your Honor, we have no more items
First,
under first reading, Your Honor, but we have just received a letter coming from the Office of the Municipal Administrator.
okay.
This is the endorsement of the Civil Security Unit request for the vacating relocation of the Toda Mercury from the public market premises.
Address aton?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ano ni?
Mr.
So,
Endorsement. Address to the Vice Mayor from the public market.
hindi dapat ilan na siya.
Tapos, who signed the letter? Si CSU? Ay, si Administrator?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
diri sa letter nga ini, si CSU head nag-letter kay admin. Then si
Opo.
admin nag-letter sa aton.
Sa aton.
Opo. But originally, si Sir Zambrano nag-request kay admin na itong mga toda sa public market i-magbakit. Then si admin man naghatag man sa aton request sa request ni CSU.
I'm pleased to formally endorse the attached request. Okay, this. We look forward to your legislative support on this matter. Sige. Refer to the Committee on Transportation. Although medyo, sige lang. No comment. Sige, next item.
So, Your Honor, we'll proceed now to the committee reports. The Committee on Transportation, Communication, and Energy will render its report.
Okay, the Chairman, Honorable Marvin Delano is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Subject Committee Report of the Committee on Transportation, Communication, and Energy. Committee Report number 2026-3. Pursuant to the referred matter to this committee, a committee hearing was conducted on March 2, 2026 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the Sangguniang Bayan Session Hall, ISULAN, Sultan Kudarat. Invited during the same were MPDC, the Municipal Administrator, the Municipal Engineer, the Municipal Legal Officer, the Business Permit and Licensing Officer, the General Manager of Sokelco, and the members comprising this committee. Item: letter received from the Office of the Mayor requesting for the enactment of an ordinance adopting the streamlined guidelines for the issuance of permits and clearances for the implementation of energy infrastructure projects, or EIPS. Discussion and findings. The committee to which the request was referred has carefully reviewed and deliberated the draft proposed ordinance during its committee hearing with the participation of concerned officers. It was emphasized that delays in the issuance of permits and licenses have historically contributed to feedbacks or to setbacks in the implementation of critical energy projects affecting power reliability, economic growth, and public service delivery. The said measure aimed at fast-tracking and harmonizing the local permitting process of energy projects. It aligns local procedures with national mandates, especially the Energy Virtual One-Stop Shop, or EVOS Act, or RA 11234, and the Ease of Doing Business Act, RA 11032. In support of national policies promoting energy security and ease of doing business, the proposed Ordinance 6.2, number 1, establish a streamlined and unified process for the issuance of permits and clearances. Number 2, define standard processing timelines for all concerned offices. Number 3, promote transparency and accountability in permitting processes. Number 4, encourage investments in energy infrastructure projects within the municipality. And the last, number 5, ensure compliance with national laws and policies on energy and ease of doing business. The salient features of the ordinance. Number 1, designate an office within the local government to serve as focal point for all applications related to energy infrastructure projects, simplifying the submission and tracking process for developers. Number 2, imposing strict and realistic deadlines for the review and approval of permits and clearances by all relevant local offices. Failure to act within the timelines shall have corresponding penalties as stipulated in the ordinance. Number 3, developing a comprehensive and consolidated checklist of necessary documents, minimizing redundancies and clarifying expectations for applicants. Number 4, last, establishing a defined process for addressing complaints and disputes arising from the permitting and implementation of energy projects. After due discussion and thorough review of the proposed ordinance, the committee finds that there is a pressing need to streamline the process for securing permits and clearances for energy infrastructure projects within the jurisdiction of the municipality of ISULAN, believing that it will significantly reduce bureaucratic hurdles, attracts investments in energy sector, and contribute to the local and national energy security while upholding environmental integrity and protecting community rights. Recommendation: wherefore, premises considered, the committee hereby recommends passing an ordinance adopting the streamlined guidelines for the issuance of permits and clearances for the implementation of energy infrastructure projects or EIPs in the municipality of ISULAN. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This respectfully submitted by the Committee on Transportation, Communication, and Energy, Chairperson, yours truly, Vice Chairperson, Honorable Darlene Lama, and Secretary, Honorable Engineer Alfonso S. Dimasuay.
Honorable Marvin, do you have a draft ordinance?
Yes.
And
Mr.
you have
Chair.
and you base your draft ordinance on a
Pro forma.
pro forma. Okay. Pro forma from
From the
uh,
DOE.
DOE. Okay. Okay. So, will you please move to adopt your report?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move for the adoption of the committee report of the Committee on Transportation and Communication and Energy, Committee Report number 2026-03.
So, committee report number 2026-03 is hereby adopted by the Committee on Transportation, Communication, and Energy. And the measure is calendared for second reading this session.
Next, Your Honor, the Committee on Good Government, Labor, and Employment.
Mr. Chair,
Honorable J.R. Dizon is recognized.
Mr. Chair, subject, Committee Report of the Committee on Good Government, Ethics, Labor, and Employment. Committee Report number 2026-03. Pursuant to the referred matter to this committee, a committee hearing was conducted on February 6 and March 16, 2026 at 2 p.m. in the Sangguniang Bayan Session Hall, ISULAN, Sultan Kudarat. Present during hearing were the Municipal Budget Officer, the HRMO, and the members comprising this committee. Item: Proposed Ordinance creating 12 coterminous position Private Secretary under the Office of Sangguniang Bayan. Findings and discussion. During the committee hearing conducted on February 6, 2026, the proposed ordinance was preliminarily discussed, and the Municipal Budget Officer opened that if requires a huge budget, if the position will be having a salary grade 11. The bottom line of of which is the source of fund which is not yet available to finance the said positions. On March 16, 2026, committee hearing, this committee recommends the creation of this 12 coterminous position under the Office of Sangguniang Bayan. After due discussion and use, the committee came up to consider casual position with salary grade 1 in lieu of salary grade 11. The municipal budget officer agreed with the creation of this position, but she explained that at present there are no available source for the position. Apparently, this position will absorb job orders under the Office of the Vice Mayor and personal assistance of SB members to include the ex officio members. The committee decided to request the municipal budget officer to issue a certification that this position, after being funded, will not exceed the PS limitation cap of the local government unit. Recommendation, therefore, premises considered, the committee hereby recommends passing or an ordinance creating 12 casual positions with salary grade 1 under the Office of the Sangguniang Bayan. That further this measure be deliberated on second reading this session, respectfully submitted by the Committee on Good Government, Ethics, Labor, and Employment. Committee Chairperson, yours truly, Committee Vice Chairperson, Honorable Carlo F. Piado, and Committee Secretary, Honorable Darlene Lama. That's all, Mr. Chair.
So you recommended for the passing, but the report also states that we need a certification that this does not exceed the PS limitation cap. Do you have the certification already, Honorable JR?
Wala pa, Mr. Chair. Mag-aan pa kayo kay Budget Officer.
So we need that certification before we will approve the resolution, right? And that, as stated by your by the committee report, Honorable JR, there is no fund for the position.
Yes, Mr.
So
Chair.
what will be the status of the creation? We will create the position, but since there is no fund, what will be the situation? What will be the status of the positions?
Actually, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Honorable Pons.
Actually, we can create positions to be funded later.
Okay.
Ilagay natin providing funds therefore. Maybe this time wala, but baka sa supplemental budget makanan siya, mapunduhan.
Okay. So
I think as to the
okay.
cap limitation 45%, we have not reached the 45%. But to confirm,
Even if we will create the 12
Yeah.
positions, okay?
To confirm this, siguro pwede patawag natin somebody from the budget office. As to the
Mr. Chair?
45%.
Honorable JR.
Ari nagali diri ang
Computation.
computation halin sa aton nga budget.
And the certification states that
amo nang ilang.
Sa budget cap,
Sa budget cap niya, Mr. Chair.
does not exceed.
does that exceed 45%?
Wala man naka-state diri, Mr. Chair.
Computation lang.
Computation lang.
So what's the pleasure of the committee? We'll just approve.
Yes. Sa committee? That's we don't, wala ta mag-exit. Competition lang ni total amount.
Competition lang, wala siya magkabay man yan.
Honorable JR, shall we table this first? For next session? No? I-comply na lang tong certification by creating these 12 positions, we will not exceed the PS cap limitation para medyo proper ang pag-create na.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Kaya ang
Okay.
padalaya lang, sir, Mr. Chair.
Ang
isang,
computation.
computation lang.
Ang importante yagan bisan why pa computation, ang iya certification nga why nag-exceed. Sige. So this okay. So we'll adopt the committee report and we'll schedule second reading next session. Okay, sige.
Mr. Chair, I move for the adoption of this committee report, the Committee on Good Government, Ethics, Labor, and Employment, Committee Report Number 2026-03.
Okay, so Committee Report Number 2026-03 of the Committee on Good Government, Ethics, Labor, and Employment is hereby adopted. And the measure is calendared for second reading next session.
Next committee to report is the Committee on Finance, Budget Appropriations, and Ways and Means.
Honorable Carlo Apiato is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject of the report is the committee report of the Committee on Finance, Budget Appropriations, and Ways and Means, Committee Report Number 2026-05. Pursuant to the referred barangay budget to this committee, the same was forwarded to the Office of the Municipal Budget Officer for her preliminary review. On March 9, 2026, this office received a copy of the preliminary review of this budget from the Office of the Municipal Budget Officer, addressed to the honorable members of the Sangguniang through this representation, chairperson of this committee, after which a committee hearing was conducted on March 24, 2026 in the Sangguniang Bayan Session Hall, ISULAN Sultan Kudarat at 10 o'clock in the morning, with the presence of the barangay officials of Tayugo, Municipal Budget Officer, and members comprising this committee. Item, Annual Budget for Fiscal Year 2026 of Barangay Tayugo in the amount of 4,451,399 pesos. Findings, as per preliminary review of this barangay budget, revealed substantial compliance with RA 7160 and its implementing rules and regulations, subject to the conditions stated hereunder, which were adopted and concurred by this committee. Number 1, the development, allocation, and utilization of the gender and development planning and budgeting shall be implemented in the accordance with PCW-DILG-DBM-NEDA Joint Memorandum Circular Number 2013-01, as amended by PCW-DILG-DBM-NEDA Number 2016-01. The appropriation and utilization of the BPAs under the 20% Development Fund as embodied in the AIP shall strictly comply with the updated guidelines of DILG-DBM Joint Memorandum Circular Number 2017-01. Accordingly, the Appropriation Ordinance Number 1, enacted by virtue of Resolution Number 2, dated December 29, 2025, is declared operative in its entirety effective January 1, 2026. It is understood that the review action does not authorize any item of appropriation that is specifically prohibited or inconsistent with the provisions of law. Further, in the implementation of this budget, strict compliance with all existing accounting, auditing, and other administrative rules and regulations shall be properly observed, and the same shall be the responsibility of the concerned implementing barangay local government unit. This committee, pursuant to Section 333 of RA 7160 as amended, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991, is of unanimous opinion to declare this budget operative with the specific conditions stated above. Recommendation: wherefore premises considered, this committee hereby recommends passing a resolution declaring the annual budget for fiscal year 2026 of Barangay Tayugo involving a total appropriation of 4,551,399 pesos, operative in its entirety, effective January 1, 2026. We further recommend, Mr. Chair, that this measure be deliberated on second reading in today's session. Respectfully submitted by the Committee on Finance, Budget Appropriations and Ways and Means, Chairperson, yours truly, Committee Vice Chairperson, Honorable Moises Dular, and Committee Secretary, Honorable Engineer Marvin L. Dalanon.
Okay. No question from the other members?
Mr. Chair, I move for the adoption of the committee report number 2026-05 of the Committee on Finance, Budget Appropriations and Ways and Means.
Okay, so committee report number 2026-05 is hereby adopted and the measure is calendared for second reading this session.
So, Your Honor, there are no more committee reports. We'll proceed now to the calendar of business on second reading. First, we have the proposed measure based on the committee report of the Committee on Transportation, Communication, and Energy.
Okay, Honorable Marvin Dalanon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Shall we present the municipal ordinance draft?
Okay. And Honorable Dalanon, will you direct the discussion? Will you discuss the ordinance?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This, I think this ordinance is 10 pages.
So the important features, especially on the actions or activities subject of the ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the, maybe we can start from the general provisions. Title and coverage. This ordinance shall be known as the Streamlined Guidelines for the issuance of permits and clearances for the implementation of energy infrastructure projects, i.e. EIPs, in the municipality of ISULAN. Specifically, this ordinance governs the application and issuance process for the following: building permit, certificate of use, barangay clearance, business permit, and the last, ancillary and accessory permits of the said documents or clearances. The section 4, we'll go direct to the section 4. Implementation of the Energy Virtual One-Stop Shop, or EVOS Act. It shall be the policy of the municipality of Isulan to streamline the processes in issuing the necessary permits and certificates on energy-related projects in accordance with RA 11234, otherwise known as EVOS Act. Pursuant to Section 14.2 III hereof, the DOE, or Department of Energy, shall, in consultation with LGUs, set a program for integration of the above LGU processes in the EVOS. Such program for integration shall prioritize LGUs based on volume of EIP-related application received and or processed. Any question? Article 2, standards for processing building permits, certificate of use, and related clearances for the construction of energy infrastructure projects. The municipality of ISULAN, pursuant to provisions of the ILG-DOE-JMC number 2020-01, titled Guidelines for LGUs to Facilitate the Implementation of Energy Projects, and the ILG-MC 2019-117, titled Guidelines for the Integration of the Issuance of Barangay Clearance in the Permitting Process of Cities and Municipalities, to streamline the processes in issuing the necessary permits on EIPs in accordance with the Section 14 of RA 11234, shall adopt the following guidelines in processing permits and clearances. Section 5, submission of unified application form. The municipality of ISULAN may use the pre-formatted application form signed by the owner or the applicant, or if the applicant is not the registered owner, the lessee, awardee, or buyer, as the case may be, for building permit stipulated in National Building Code DO Memorandum Circular Number 1 Series of 2020. A modified format of the application form for building permit can be adopted by the LGUs, provided that the fields in the prescribed uniform form are maintained. This part of the Section 5, if we will not adopt it, can also be erased. This is format.
Application for building permit.
Yes, Mr. Chair, application form.
Application form. Okay. So,
We can adopt or
anyway, Honorable Marvin, the word used is may.
not.
May use. So, meaning we may or we may not adopt the form. Okay na siguro. Eh, may man lang ang nakabutang. And we'll carry the paragraph
Okay.
that the committee you have suggested. We may have a modified format.
Yes, Mr. Chair. 4 copies of the application form for the building permit duly notarized shall be submitted with the required documents as prescribed in Section 5 together with the duly accomplished ancillary permit forms. The application form shall be assigned a unique identification number which will be used as the identifying number for all subsequent transactions between the municipal government of ISULAN and the applicant in relation to the said application. Section 6, documentary requirements for the building permit. The applicant in applying for a building permit shall be required to submit the following documents signed and sealed over the printed names of duly licensed and registered professionals together with 4 copies of duly accomplished building permit forms and ancillary permit forms as prescribed and as applicable per Section 301 and 302 of National Building Code of the Philippines as adopted by the concerned OBO or LGU. Letter A, certified true copy of the original or transfer certificate of title covering the subject land, and in cases where the applicant is not the registered owner of the said lot, a duly notarized copy of the contract of lease or deed of absolute sale or notarized deed of donation or assignment of right. Letter B, whenever applicable, 4 sets of survey plans, design plans, other documents prepared, signed, and sealed over the printed names of duly licensed and registered professionals subject to existing rules and regulation. Letter C, 1 copy of valid licenses of all involved professionals, example, professional tax receipt and the PRC ID. Letter D, 1 copy of valid ID of applicant and owner of the lot, if the lot owner and applicant is not one and the same. Letter E, if applicable, 1 copy of each technical document such as but not limited to cost estimate for labor and materials, project specifications, structural design analysis, and soil analysis. LGU and their associated offices may not impose further or additional requirements or documents from the applicants apart from those specifically enumerated in the Citizens Charter of the LGU. We can also omit this one if
Sige. So, this one is
we cannot omit maybe.
may not impose further.
Kaya depende.
Oo.
Depende
We
sa
cannot
Citizen
add.
Charter. Kaya na-approve ng Citizen Charter base may requirement dito. Ang Citizen Charter ang mag-prevail. Ara gini siya eh.
So, may not impose further.
If not in the Citizen Charter.
Yeah, yes. Okay, good.
Okay, we'll
That's
adopt this one.
Oo. With that additional phrase.
Yeah.
Honorable.
Once the municipality of Isulan is integrated into the EVOS system, applicants will only be required to submit a single copy of the required documents. Section 7, processing time for building permit and other related clearances. The application for building permit with complete documentary requirements shall be evaluated and processed within a maximum processing time of 15 days without prejudice to the availment of one-time extension as provided under Section 9B1 of RA 11032. Application for barangay clearance is integrated in the processing time. Nevertheless, the LGU may adopt a more stringent processing, opting to avail the aforementioned extension. Maybe we just go with 15 days. Erase na lang siguro na, ma'am. Notes naman siguro na. $15 lang eh. Tama naman siguro 15 days. 15 days naman to sa committee eh.
Okay na lang. 15 days.
I-erase na lang
Erase
siya.
na lang ni. Oo.
One lang sabi na daw, note lang na siya. Section Documentary requirements for certificate of use. In applying for certificate of use, the applicant shall be required to submit 4 sets of the following documents together with the unified application form for certificate of use, duly notarized. Letter A, certificate of completion properly filled up, signed and sealed by all involved professionals in charge and duly notarized. Construction logbook, photocopy of valid licenses of all involved professionals, photographs of the structures, all sides showing substantial completion, yellow card clearance from electrical service provider, and last, letter F, in cases where there are changes in the approved building plans, copy of as-built plan reflecting all the changes, modifications, alterations, amendments made. Once the municipality of ISULAN is integrated into the EVO system, applicants will only be required to submit a single copy of the required documents. The EVOS system is a system by the, I think this is a DOE system. Electronic, what's the meaning of EVOS? The meaning of EVOS is the energy virtual one-stop shop.
One stop.
Designed to streamline, centralize, and accelerate the permitting processes for the power generation, transmission, and distribution projects. Under RA 11234. The Energy Regulatory Commission uses the system to issue digital certificates. Dili na mag-apply ang applicant, then we are also mandated to be part of this system through our focal person for the this streamlining. There must be a designated focal person for the simplifying of the submission and tracking process for the developers. Any question?
No questions so far.
Processing time, Section 9, processing time for certificate of use and other related certificates. Application for certificate of use shall be acted upon by the different offices at the EVOS within the non-extendable period of 15 days. 15 calendar days from receipt of the application form with complete documentary requirements. The OBO, Office of the Building Official, shall issue a certificate of use together with other related certificates, clearances from payment of the required fees by the applicant. Article 3, standards for processing mayors or business permit for operation of energy infrastructure projects, EIPs. The application for mayors or business permit for the implementation and operation of EIPs shall be processed in accordance with the ARTA, DTI, DILG, DICT Joint Memorandum Circular Number 1, Series of 2021, titled Guidelines for Processing Business Permits, Related Clearances, and Licenses in All Cities and Municipalities. Article 4, Standard Reforms for Construction and Operation of EIPs. Section 10, Steps. The municipality of ISULAN shall ensure the applicants will undergo a maximum 3 steps in securing the permit certificate or clearance below is or clearances. Below is an illustration of 3-step procedures. Submission of the application form and documentary requirements. Step 2, payment of fees. And Step 3, claiming the permit and ancillary permits. Erase na lang siguro nato ng rom ng next nga daw note lang man siya. The LGU may also introduce variation. Siguro hindi naman tanid mag-introduce variation. Kaya standard niya sa For easy compliance by the applicant, applications with deficiencies shall be issued a comprehensive correction sheet and or notice of disapproval, NOD, by the zoning officer or OBO stating all deficiencies. Section 11, Assessment of Fees. The amount of fees of the municipality of ISULAN in connection with the construction of EIP shall be reasonably commensurate to the cost of regulation or provision of the service. The municipality of ISULAN shall comply with the provisions of the ILG DOF JMC number 2019-01 entitled Guidelines for the Review, Adjustment, Setting, and or Adoption of Reasonable Regulatory Fees and Charges of Local Government Units, or as may be amended in determining reasonable rates of fees and charges to be imposed. Actually, may request si MPDC regarding the fees for the processing of reclassification of lots.
Anong
Siguro pwede siya diri mabutang ang assessment of fees. Kaya may ara man siya gyapon sang reclassification kadamuan ni sa iya sa EIPs. Pero ang the fee itself of these documents wala pa ni sa aton nga nga revenue code or ang OBO lang may ara.
sige.
Okay lang ni siya nga diretso lang ni ang wala fees nga amount.
Ano na lang siguro? Separate
Dito gani siya mabalik siya sa sa revenue code.
O,
kag
dito na lang
OBO.
siguro.
Oo. O, dugangan na lang provision para may ara sa basis sa iyang payment.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Section 12, simultaneous processing of construction-related permits with relevant government agencies. The application for construction-related permits for the implementation of EIPs may, at the option of the applicant, be processed simultaneously with the application for relevant permits, clearances, or licenses from other national government agency, including but not limited to Department of Public Works and Highways, National Commission on Indigenous People, provided that the applicant will submit a certification that the location is not within the identified ancestral domains of the indigenous people. An undertaking that the relevant permits, clearances, or licenses are under process shall be acceptable as a prerequisite for the application of construction-related permits for the implementation of EIPs. Subject to the presentation of the certification from the relevant national government agency that the applicant has an ongoing application for a required permit, clearance, or license. The proper officer may issue a provisional permit or clearance in favor of the applicant, provided that the application has started its processing time as defined in Section 6.12. This shall also apply to expropriation complaint upon presentation of a certification from the competent court that a complaint has been duly filed. Such provisional permit or clearance shall be subject to suspension or revocation upon the denial of applicant's relevant application by the concerned national government agency. Section 13, automatic approval. The municipality of ISULAN shall approve or deny all applications for clearances, permits, or any other documents necessary for the commencement and or completion of EIPs within the above-mentioned period from the submission of all requirements subject to the exemptions and determines and deferments provided in this ordinance. All applications for permits or clearances required for the implementation of EIP shall be deemed approved upon the lapse of period indicated in this JMC, provided that such applications have not been duly denied in writing, and provided further that the complete requirements have been duly submitted and the required fees, if any, have been duly paid, upon the lapse of period indicated in this ordinance, and if the application has not been denied in writing, the municipal government of ISULAN shall immediately issue the permit, clearance, or document applied for. Any question for the automatic approval? 15 days lang siya. dapat aware ang focal person sini sang mga provision sang ordinance.
Ikaw?
Dapat
Do-
maano niya gid.
Do active pa na nga ton nga ano.
At least may focal person.
Oh,
Okay lang man
sige,
siguro.
15 days.
Section 14, signatories. The municipality of Isulan shall adhere to Section 9D of RA 11032 for signatories to a permit to at most 3 representing officers directly supervising the office or unit or division responsible for approving and issuing the permit or license. In the case of building permits, the building official shall sign and issue the building permit. Technical staff members are, however, enjoined to sign the review or evaluation sheets of the technical documents. They were assigned to evaluate for reference of the building official. Moreover, in compliance with Section 9A 4 of RA 11032, the receiving officer or employee shall issue an acknowledgement receipt containing the seal of the municipality of Isulan, the name of the responsible officer or employee, his, her unit and designation, and the date and time of receipt of such application of request. Provided that in case that authorized signatory is on official business or on official leave, an alternate shall be designated as signatory. Electronic signatures or pre-signed license, clearance, permit, certification, or authorization with adequate security and control mechanism may be used. The municipality of Isulan shall use authenticated digital signatures or electronic signatures. The building permit that will be issued to the applicant. The municipality of Isulan shall avail of and recognize the use of Philippine National Public Key Infrastructure of the DICT, which provides a more secure manner of digitally signing official documents or utilize other secured available means of digitally signing official documents such as offered by private entities in accordance with issuances by the DICT. The local chief executive of the municipality of Isulan shall issue an appropriate inter-office memorandum stating the rules on controls for the use of digital signatures as well as proper identification and delegation of authority to alternate signatories in the absence of the regular signatory. Section 15. Any question for Section 14? Section 15. Guidance for the application for building permits and other clearances for the implementation of EIPs. The municipality of Isulan shall be guided by the following policies in the issuance of building permits for all applications in the implementing of EIPs. Letter A, deferment of submission of tax clearance. Recognition of tax exemption. Submission of tax clearances covering properties affected by EIPs required for the issuance of building permits shall be deferred, provided that the applicant provides a written undertaking that any of and all pending real property taxes and arrears shall be settled within 6 months from the issuance of the building permit.
Okay, please proceed.
Provided further that the municipality of Isulan shall recognize an applicant's exemption from real property and other local taxes, if any, for properties used in connection with its franchise or on its rights, privileges, receipts, revenue, or profits, as may be provided under existing laws, rules, and regulations, granting a legislative franchise to applicants for the implementation of EIPs such as the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, GCP. The LGU shall likewise issue a certification in favor of the applicant confirming such exemption. However, applicants who are tax exempt as mentioned in the previous paragraph shall be not subject to the payment of local business tax, business permit fee, and other regulatory fees and charges as may be imposed under a duly enacted local ordinance unless such taxes, fees, and charges are with respect to the receipts or revenues realized from activities exclusive of its franchise. Nevertheless, this shall not preclude the municipality of Isulan from requiring the applicant to secure business permit. pwede siguro yung dugangan ni kaya as per BPLO, mabayad gid ta 150 sa mayor's permit. Hindi pwede exempt. Except for mayor's permit. Pwede sa dugangan.
Letter B. Ano to?
Letter A, sa deferment of submission of tax clearance.
Applicants who are tax exempt
O for applicant of tax exempt applicant, pero mabayad
shall
gid
be
siya
not
sa
subject to the payment of local business
mabayad gid siya sa
as
ano,
may be
mayor's
imposed
permit.
under June. Meaning, exempted siya sa
Sa iban. Pero hindi pwede sa tong tag 150. Daw pareha to sa ginatag ta nga exemption sa tricycle.
okay.
Nga tong 150 gani ma'am Ra.
Except mayor's permit.
Except mayor's
Oh,
permit. Iba man ang business permit.
Wala man yung business permit.
O pareho guro na, business permit and mayor's permit, lain.
Hindi, lain.
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 Sige. Except mayor's permit, madugang talang turom. Letter B, submission of alternative documents in lay of land titles as proof of ownership. In lay of submission of land titles as proof of ownership of properties affected by applications for building or construction permits for EIPs, the applicant shall be allowed to submit alternative documents evidencing its rights over the affected property. Such alternative documents should include the following but not limited to, such as writ of possession, permits to enter, documents evidencing transfer or conveyance of ownership or possession, and duly filed complaints for expropriation and deed of encumbrances. In cases where the property's ownership could not be ascertained based on its available records, a certification by the concerned assessor's office to that effect shall suffice for the issuance of the building or construction permit. Generally, any legal or public document evidencing a right or interest in the property in question should be adequate. Access to public documents. Upon request, the municipal government of ISULAN and its offices shall grant the applicant full and unfettered access to public documents related to the latest EIPs, including but not limited to documents related to real property, which may be necessary for the implementation of such projects, subject to the observance of the Data Privacy Act and the applicant's execution of an affidavit of undertaking aimed at protecting the confidentiality of any personal data or information it receives. The municipal government of ISULAN and its offices shall not require proof of consent from the landowner or the payment of tax arrears as prerequisites to the release of the requested public documents. Land use reclassifications. AIP must be constructed within the designated areas based on a local government unit's updated comprehensive land use plan, CLUP, and zoning ordinance. For situations where land use reclassification is necessary, the proponent of such projects may apply for land use reclassification prior to the application for a building permit. This is in compliance with the Department of Agriculture's Administrative Order Number 1, Series of 2017, or the guidelines on the issuance of certificate of land use reclassification. Clearances not required from other government agencies. The following will not be required from applicants in securing building permit, a barangay clearance, or a certificate of use. Number 1, sa kuniang panaligan or bayan resolution. Number 2, sa kuniang barangay resolution.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Abala Pedro.
There were instances before that we require a barangay resolution interposing no objection as regard the construction of said project. I don't know if this is applicable. Okay, kung isa may mga ano.
But
Yes,
the
Honorable
the pro forma ordinance, hindi na siya mag-required because this is an energy infrastructure project.
Okay.
Hindi
Though
man
exception
siya environmental, wala man siya environmental concern.
Daw exception siya.
Kaya may exception siya. Sige. Article 5, Violations, Penalties, and Liabilities. Section 16, Penalties. The violations found under Section 21 in relation to the penalties given under Section 22 of RA 11032 are applicable to all businesses and non-business related transactions covered by this ordinance. The penalties provided under Section 17 and 19 of RA 11234, otherwise known as the Energy Virtual One-Stop Shop Act, shall be applicable in case of violations concerning applications or requests for permits, licenses, clearances, authorizations, or certifications covered by this ordinance.
Okay.
Okay na?
Okay.
Article 7, Final Provisions. Funding, the Municipality of ISULAN shall allocate for the implementation of this ordinance and other relevant activities.
So, allocate
Wala pa man.
funds na lang siguro ibutan ta.
Shall
Wala
allocate
man gid
funds?
ni
Wala lang amount?
wala lang amount eh.
Walang figure. Dapat meron. Blank. May blank.
Kuan naman ni kay focal person naman ang kinanglan.
Oh.
Sing gamay lang guro. Mga 30,000 pwede na guro.
Hindi, so hindi ta lang bubutangan amount eh.
Hindi talang butangan.
Oh, eh.
Fund
Shall
lang.
fund, shall allocate fund. Okay.
Okay. Section 18, separability clause. If for any reason, any section of or provision of this ordinance is declared illegal or unconstitutional, other sections or provisions hereof which are not affected thereby shall continue to be in full force and effect. Section 19, repealing clause. All previous issuances, ordinances, rules and regulations or parts thereof which are inconsistent or in conflict with the provisions of this ordinance are hereby repealed or modified accordingly. Section 20, transitory provision. Once the municipality of ISULAN has integrated its EIP-related processes into the EVOS system, the documentary requirements shall be filed electronically through the EVOS system and municipal government of ISULAN shall no longer receive hard copies hereof. Section 21, effectivity clause. This ordinance shall take effect 15 days after its publication in a newspaper of local or general circulation or posting in at least 3 conspicuous and posting in at least 3 conspicuous place in the municipality.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So, there being no more comment or question, will you do the honor to move for the approval?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move for the approval of an ordinance adopting the streamlined guidelines for the issuance of permits and clearances for the implementation of energy infrastructure projects, EIPs, in the municipality of ISULAN.
Second the motion.
Okay, so the ordinance adopting the streamlined guidelines for the issuance of permits and clearances for the implementation of energy infrastructure projects in the municipality of ISULAN is approved on second reading.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Honorable Apiato.
I just wanted to take the opinion of the chair, of the proponent, if it is possible to add a provision in this ordinance that other sections that specified in our citizens charter will automatically be will part of the citizens charter of the LGU.
Mayroon siya, ano?
May provision, ano?
Ano na tawag? Separability clause or so all provisions not included in the Citizens Charter are valid. Are part of the Citizens Charter. Oh, dito. Additional section. Okay. Sige. So, any further motion, Honorable Dalanon?
Further, this measure be deliberated and read for third reading this session.
This session,
Sec-
okay.
Second motion.
Okay, so this ordinance is scheduled for third reading this session.
So next proposed measure is based on the committee report of the Committee on Finance.
Okay, the chairman, Honorable Carlo Piato is recognized.
Mr. Chair, thank you. This is in relation to the committee report of the Committee on Finance. Mr. Chair, I move for a resolution declaring the annual budget for fiscal year 2026 of Barangay Tayugo involving a total appropriation of 4,451,399 pesos, operative in its entirety, effective January 1, 2026.
Okay, so the annual budget for fiscal year 2026 of Barangay Tayugo involving the amount of 4,451,399 operative in its entirety, effective January 1, 2026.
So, Your Honor, there are no more proposed measure on second reading. We'll proceed now to the third and final reading. We have the proposed measure, the ordinance adopting the streamlined guidelines for the issuance of permits and clearances for the implementation of energy infrastructure projects or EIPs in the municipality of ISULAN.
Honorable Marvin Dalanon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the third and final reading, I move for the passing of an ordinance adopting the streamlined guidelines for the issuance of permits and clearances for the implementation of energy infrastructure projects, EIPs, in the municipality of ISULAN.
Okay, so the ordinance adopting the streamlined guidelines for the issuance of permits and clearances for the implementation of energy infrastructure projects in the municipality of ISULAN is approved on third and final reading.
So, there are no more items in the, as reflected in the order of business, Your Honor. We'll proceed now to the unassigned business. So, Your Honor,
Yes.
for the unassigned business, all SB members and the Vice Mayor are cordially invited to the golden wedding of Mr. and Mrs. Ruji Aristoza on April 14 at ano nga ito siya? Convention Center, Barrio Dos, Tacorong, Sultan Kudarat.
Okay? Ah? Okay. So we are all invited. So any other matter? Honorable Apiado.
Mr. Chair, the other day when we attended the barangay assembly of different barangays in our municipality, I noticed that damo sa mga barangay ang concern ang waste management. And this representation would like to propose an ordinance next session, the CLEGO ordinance of the municipality. CLEGO, Clean As You Go ordinance or Clean As You Go policy. This ordinance would somehow shape a culture of discipline and responsibility and respect for shared spaces. It is about reminding every Isulanon that cleanliness is not only the duty of government workers, Mr. Chair. Kaya kung isa kaluoy man pirmi aton nga mga empleyado, ang mga business owners nga maglimpyo sang agi sang aton nga mga utod, Mr. Chair.
Sige.
We'll just be preparing the draft, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So if there are no other matters, session adjourned.